Hello, everybody. Welcome to the SF Virtual Headbangers Happy Hour. Yeah, actually, I wanted to play that Sepultura. I kind of saved it for us to watch it together for the first time. But I know Chris probably already watched it. The Sepultura "Tainted Love" cover. Did you see it
yeah.
yet?
Yep.
Of course.
I have not seen that one.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Do you want to play? Do you have time, Chemo, to stay for a few minutes? I'm going to play it.
Yeah, I can hang out for a couple more minutes.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel I've got to run away. I've got to get away from the pain that you drive into the heart of me. The love we share seems to go nowhere, and I've lost my life. While I'm tossing, turn, I can't sleep at night. Once I ran to you, now I'll run from you. Thinking of that you have given. Give you all I want to give you. Take my tears and that's not nearly how. Take it low. Take it low. I know I've got to run away, I've got to get away. You don't really want any more from me to make things right. You need someone to hold you tight, and your pain loves to pray. But I'm sorry, I don't play that way. Once I ran to you, now I'll run from you. The love that you have given, give you all the fortune to give you. Take my tears and that's not nearly how. Tainted love, tainted love, tainted love, tainted love, tainted love.
WTF? I had no idea they even did that.
It
I
just
know.
came out. Yeah.
It's so good. I've
know.
never heard a
Cool.
bad cover of that song.
I
That
know.
killed Marilyn Manson's version of it. I think
Oh, oh
it
yeah.
really did.
I thought
And I
someone else
love
did a
that
cover of that.
song.
That was so good. Holy. I
What
knew
I
Chris
find
would.
interesting, well, what
knew
I
Chris
find
would have
interesting, yeah, what I find interesting is the bands that will go and do those covers. You know,
Mhm.
somebody would probably say they would probably never connect those two bands together ever in a cover. And we had some very interesting things back in the 90s when all the Black Sabbath covers came out from all the,
Oh, the Nativity in
yeah.
Blacks, yeah.
Oh, yeah, tons of
That was
stuff like
fun.
that.
Mhm.
And I loved the soundtracks. We had so many great soundtracks back then where bands were just chipping in and just doing some really kick-ass stuff. So
Yeah,
I
and
love seeing that.
I'm always a fan of heavier bands covering songs that were never meant to be heavy too. That's always like
Yeah.
one of my all-time favorites is the Typo Summer Breeze cover. Is so
Oh man,
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I can't
love
think of
that.
anything bad that Typo Negative did.
Nope.
I'm a big fan of the because I love Depeche Mode, but Well, I mean, the Depeche Mode cover album that came out in like '98, that was great. But specifically the In Flames, Everything Counts cover from
Oh yeah.
damn, what album was that? That was great. That was great.
Yeah,
You know,
I was in an old band that kind of made that our entire shtick. Started off as a joke band, and we ended up playing shows for like 7 years. I was in a
Nice.
band called Pop Murder, and all we did was take like the most popular. We covered Madonna and Hall and Oates and just all these old pop songs and made them super heavy. And we ended up having a fan base for for a few years until we all went off and did different things. But yeah,
How fun.
it's fun.
Well, it's funny that you say that because there's this that guitarist out of Norway, Leo something or other, that does heavy metal covers of pop songs, and he's pretty good, I think.
And
I don't
you know, then you get bands like I don't know if you guys have heard of Hell Songs,
Mm.
but it's this chick and like it's a folk band, and they do these super folky covers of nothing but metal songs.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. March
Pretty
knows me and
cool.
like the whole like X band thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we must be delving in the same area because I've been getting Polish and Russian folk music covering metal bands lately.
That's
So
so funny
I
that
don't know
man
what's
that
going
way.
on with that.
The devices are always listening, always watching.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Man, it's the truth.
What about
Mhm.
what about that Asian woman from Australia, Wing? Do you remember her? They
You talk about the
Wing-
team manager?
Wing. She did like AC/DC, like she's this Australian Chinese woman. You know Wing, right? They spoofed her on South Park.
Oh yeah. Hey guys, I gotta take off. So thanks so much for having me. It's been awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Nice meeting you, dude.
Thank you.
Adios, dude.
Thanks, K-Mo.
Take
Later,
it easy,
man.
Thanks,
guys.
Timo. Until next time.
All right.
Bye.
Very cool.
Well, that was awesome. Chemo's always so good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know we're talking about the new music, so I wanted to, before I start playing anything, have you guys listened to the new Armored Saint? That just came out today, actually.
I have
They
not.
released a few singles. So that's one.
I'm down. Hey, thoughts on the new AC/DC single that dropped last week? or
Oh,
whatever?
that was actually really good.
I
mean,
was surprised.
It was
Wait.
familiar, but different.
Yeah.
Wait, I missed that.
Oh, so, and by the way, March, you can go to u.acdc.com, and you
Uh-huh.
can like do a whole ACDC thing with your initials.
No.
Oh yeah, I know. I need to
Nice.
do that. My ML. I was like,
Yeah,
do one for
I'm
my daughter.
actually
Who
giving
else
them
do I
out
do?
like as badges at work. You know, like you're a rock star. Here you go.
Be
Dude, that's
making one
awesome.
for my mom.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah, I need to do that before they take that off. I did the one for Metallica. I did March Hello, like in the Metallica font, but I'll have to do that
Ooh, cool.
one. That was a couple of years ago. So wait, the new AC/DC, was
Yeah,
it
just-
just audio?
Just go to the
I
latest
see
Dodge
it.
commercial. Yeah, go to the latest Dodge commercial, man. They feature it.
No, I mean, they have a whole. Well, yeah, okay, they sold out a little bit, but
Wait a minute, wait.
It's
Is
not
it
the first
shot,
time.
shot in the dark? It says official audio 2 weeks ago. Was it that one? That wasn't on the agenda.
yes,
That seems
yes,
right.
but
Yeah.
but yeah, but they, and then I think they have an actual video for it as well.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's play it. I've
It's
been
good.
listening to other stuff. Okay, let's check it
It's
out.
like an old friend.
Yeah, just
Cool.
as long as it wasn't ACDC shot in the dark, because that was not good.
AC/DC or what?
Oh,
Ozzy
sorry.
Osbourne shot in the dark.
Sorry, Ozzy Osbourne. As long as it wasn't
I was
Ozzy
gonna say,
Osbourne.
wait a minute.
I
Sorry,
was
man,
trying
that
to
was
draw
not
the
my
connection
thing.
there. I'm like, wait, what?
Shaking. I'm like, hang on. Okay, let's see. This one,
Guys,
right?
While you're waiting, I'm gonna give a shout out to Jimmy with the catwork orange shirt.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's excellent. Oh, that's a great shirt. I love it.
Meow.
Thanks, guys.
GIF and cheers, guys, again.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's play this. Wait, this is not. It says premieres in 2 days. Oh, we could listen to it though.
That's why you got to play the Dodge commercial. You
Really?
get to see lots of burning rubber and all kinds of
Okay,
stuff.
okay, that sounds better. I like fast cars.
Maybe they just released the audio then.
Dude, I
before.
am just kidding, man.
Oh, are you serious?
You don't
Are you
have
serious?
to play the thing.
I'm like, why would they
Anything
sell
where you
out
got
their new song?
anything where you got cars with burning rubber and stuff like that, that's totally awesome.
Here, no, let's play it.
Unless it's electric, screw those things.
Yeah, don't ever take me serious.
Well, I'm playing in a band right now where I'm playing 3 guitars and I've got like 2 amps, so I need a fucking truck right now at this point.
There you go.
Together.
You get
Ram.
that Hellcat frickin' Durango.
Exactly.
I got a truck you can borrow, bro. It's got a broken driver's side window, but you know it still runs.
Oh, I need to move a bed too from Alameda to San Francisco. Okay, we'll chat later. So.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Wait. Sean
Whoa.
McCartney
Okay,
featured.
cool.
No, he like Chris. You're serious. There's the AC/DC music in the Dodge. Okay,
Yeah,
You're playing it
you're
right
on
now.
you're on the wrong one. Go to the Family Motto one.
huh? Wait, AC. Which one?
Yeah, it's right there, third one down.
This one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ricky Bobby, get your butt back here.
I want to go fast.
I said burnouts and donuts only.
Cow, you came in hot. I had Mountain Dew for breakfast. You think of what I'm thinking now? Shake and bake. Shake and bake. See ya, pal. Bye, Ricky. Okay, our lawyers just want you to know that this isn't real. My stunt driver's a 45-year-old man.
That's my boy. Forget what your smoking hot moms and teachers say. Just remember my motto.
Wake up in the morning and piss excellence.
No,
Always get a DNA test.
no, the other one. If you ain't first.
You're last. Woo!
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah. So anywhere where you're burning frickin' rubber, just throwing the car around, man, and listening to some metal, that's good times.
I know. I was so distracted by all this stuff. It's like, what was AC/DC playing? I was like, oh, gotta go back. How fun. Okay, so I guess we'll watch that video like next time, that one. But anyway, so going back to like our agenda, not that we need to stick to it, but so so there's the Damned. They have like a 3-4 song EP, Blue Oyster Cult, that I've been listening to all day. Has anyone else listened to the new BOC?
I have not yet.
No, but I'll take you on my tour of the damn posters if you want me to.
Yes, that would be good. I know you have a lot of stuff. I know
Yeah,
you guys
I mean,
love them.
how old are they? Are they 70?
Oh God, how old is Buck Dharma? We could Google that easily. But
I don't
no,
want to
so
date myself. I'm younger than they are. How's that? Fuck you.
I don't know, but it's interesting. It's interesting. So I've been listening to it pretty much all day. It's a long album. There's like a bunch of songs. It's kind of all over the place. Like I was chatting with Chris earlier. Their last album came out in 2001. So it's almost been 20 years since their last studio album. So yeah, so I'm sure they had a bunch of stuff lined up. So it's not like a theme. You know how sometimes albums have a certain theme, it's very cohesive, it has a certain feel, but this is like, you know, it goes from like kind of pretty heavy metal to like Georgia Satellites, like all in one same
It
album.
does.
So but it's quite good. The other one, Kiko, that's an instrumental album, and that was his open source. It's called Open Source, and he basically gives you like the stems, the tracks and stuff. It was kind of a crowdsourced type of album, and he basically met his goal within like a day and exceeded
Wow.
it. I think people donated $60-something thousand to the making of this album, and I think you know, you know, he had plenty of leftover. He did a really good job. You know, he kind of pitched it basically to his fans. It's like, this is what I'm going to do. And then there's different levels of packages. So, you know, you could pay a couple $100 and get a free, like a guitar signed by him, all the way down to, you know, if you're just $5 or whatever, you know, you get basically access to the online tracks. You know, so all levels of packages. I did a package, I can't remember how much it was, $50, $60 or something. So it came with a CD, it came with a T-shirt, it came with pics, it came with extra stuff that wasn't listed. So, but yeah, he got funded within a day, like, and totally way exceeded his goal. So it's kind of impressive, and it sounds really good. If you're a fan of Kiko, you would like it. It's all instrumental. Armored
Cool.
Saint, you know, Phil was on the show probably a month ago talking about this. So it finally came out. They released 2 singles prior to the release of the album. And then with the release of the album, they released a 3rd single, which is, I think, my favorite track of the whole album. The whole album is pretty solid. Yeah, so I have all of my top like 6 songs already, and it just got released yesterday. They also did something interesting during this time of COVID. Instead of doing a record release party, they did a virtual record release party at the Whiskey last Saturday. So, you know, they sold tickets ahead of time, $10 for access to this live stream event that you could watch up to like 30 days after. So I've kind of watched it maybe once or twice after. Really amazing performance at the Whiskey A Go Go in Hollywood. And they also did kind of bundles and stuff with that, with the actual album dropping today. But I got my CD in the mail about 2 days ago. So pretty impressive, pretty solid. Like all the tracks are pretty good. Maybe there's just 2 tracks I'm not super into, but aside from that, really good. Disciples of Verity is Corey Glover's kind of project with these guys, and every song it seems like he has kind of a guest guitarist or something. Couple of the tracks, one guest guitarist is Phil Demmel from Violence, Machine Head. The other guest that comes to mind is Jeff Loomis from Arch Enemy and Nevermore. So that's the other one. Avatar, I believe it's a Swedish band. I saw them at the UC Theater last year, 2 years ago. Great band live. So they just came out with a new album. Really good, really solid.
Yeah, they're trending hard on XM and all that. They play the shit out of them.
Oh, good, good. Amazing band, great band live too. So yeah, there's so many. I mean, like you were saying, Chris, it's like the COVID thing. Actually, it is a really good time for music in a way, because now we have, you know, instead of everyone rushing off, I gotta go here, I gotta go here. You know, I'm actually watching videos. I'm actually listening to new music and, you know, kind of seeking it out and kind of looking forward to it. So it's not all bad, but the only bad thing is that these bands can't go out and tour, right? And we can't go see them live. But otherwise, as far as, you know, videos and stuff, I think it's being consumed probably at a higher rate than it would have been like if things were normal.
I'm excited for the festivals that will probably be coming up within the year. I think there'll be some pretty big things going on.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's going to happen, because I know Aftershock, they released, you know, the lineup and stuff. You know, Metallica is supposed to play that, and that was supposed to be
That's a
this
crazy
year.
lineup, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like over 4 days even, right?
Yeah. It's pretty long. It's pretty long.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, honestly, I mean, there's, you know, no vaccine, no cure. It's kind of, we're just still in the beginning stages. So let's see. You know, I don't want to get my hopes up. I mean, it looks great, but just take it day by day. I mean, what can we do? But
yeah, I always said if I go out, I want to die with a smile on my face. I want to hit the frickin' wall at 100 miles an hour. I want to die with a piece of bacon lodged in my fucking aorta. You know?
Well, you can still do 2 of the 3 things, so.
Yeah,
right.
I'm with you up until the bacon, but I mean, you're cool.
Vegan bacon.
So, anyway, I thought I would start with, have any of you heard any of the Armored Saint? Like the first 2 tracks, they've been kind of playing a lot. So
Yeah.
Bring it on.
okay,
Good
so
stuff.
the one that just came out today is actually my favorite track on the album. I went to the East Bay to see my mom yesterday, so I actually had the the CD in the car and stuff. And it's one of those ones where you're like listening, and then all of a sudden you hear that one song, and you're like, "Wait, what is this?" You know, and you have to go take a look. So that kind of gave me that which one is this moment? So I had to look. I'm like, okay, got it. So this is my favorite track off of the new album. Let me know what you think.
I can't think of anything bad about that. I mean, first you got fights, then you got mix, and
Exactly.
the tune was good.
Isn't that great? I
Yeah.
loved it. I mean, I love the song. The video just came out, but that was the one like yesterday when I heard it for the first time. It was like, but actually, there's a lot of catchy songs. I think they have 2 singles out. We could play one more. I think we have time, but yeah, it's really good. Like I said, the live streaming concert was really good. I love John Bush's voice. John Bush is so good in Armored Saints. It's just perfect. I think he's just perfect.
Well, he's a flawless singer. He's weathered time very well.
Good way of putting it. He really. I mean, yes. Honestly, it's like he's so good. He's still so good. Maybe even better than before. He's pretty amazing. So
yeah.
Let me see. What was the other one? It's interesting, like we were saying, like
Tim,
with
he's just a little bit older than us. He's 57.
John Bush.
Yep.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I think Phil is around that range or something too. So, but yeah, they're freaking fantastic.
Yeah, he's much older than me.
Nice.
Sorry.
Well, I'm not going to say that he's. I'm not going to say he's not very much older than me.
I'm sticking to it. He's so much older than me.
Okay, this is the other one. Hang on. Okay, let me get it ready.
Very cool. Very good.
So good. I just love that band. I've loved them forever, and still kick ass after all these years.
I tell you, the first time I saw Metallica, they opened for them. They opened for Wasp and Armored Saint.
Oh, Metallica did, right?
Yep.
Yep. We were talking about that, I think,
Yeah. It's the
a
most
couple weeks
insane.
ago.
Yeah, it's the most insane backwards lineup because now, Metallica is the big band. Wasp is big overseas. Apparently they refuse to play in the United States because they're not going to play to a half-filled bar and
Oh,
then
really?
Armored Saint.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that they were still active, but okay, interesting. So
Well,
so those
is anybody active right now? I mean,
we're all even now, right?
exactly.
So yeah, check it out. Check out the whole album. I mean, it's really solid. It's really good. So the next one, let me see. Blue Oyster Cult. I think everyone knows BOC and probably let's I'm gonna share some stuff with you guys because I've been listening all day and like I said, the first album since 2001. So a little background on that. And when you listen to it, it's not like a cohesive album like we listen to the Heathen album. It's just basically meant to be played really from beginning to end. Just it's a whole show in itself. So this is kind of all over the place, but the pieces within the all over the place, I mean, they're pretty good. So let me just share some, like I said, like a little listening party. Let me get their stuff up here and you be the judge. Oyster Cult, here we go. Let's see if they have, I think they had made some videos. So might as well just watch the video. Lots of times, the last time I did this, I said, let's just listen to the audio track so it doesn't let us jade it. But I have listened to these tracks, but I have not watched the video. So The Alchemist is one that comes to mind. I like this one. So let me share this with you.
Darkness just to open up my mind. I've learned of hidden secrets scattered through the depths of time. And at my father's side, I witness things I can't describe. They must be low. The people cried. So when the prince went missing and the mob was at our door, the king would not see reason, only vengeance, only war. My father's neck held in his grip until he was no more. But the prince was still alive. And I said, may never run over all your murderous life. Survive to reach a greater age than thine. Because I'm the alchemist, creator of your fears. I'm a sorcerer, a curse throughout the years. And I won't rest till no one's left the ending of your life. Their lives are a prison of my design. The generations, they've forgotten of my vow. But still my will be done. My curse stays stronger even now. A tragic fall, a fatal brawl, all accidents each time. final king's obsession to escape impending doom. Reach beneath the castle walls where he chanced upon a room. And there he found his enemy, the man who cheated death. And I said, with my last breath, it was I, the alchemist, creator of your fears. It was I, the sorcerer, I've waited all these years. And when you pass, you'll be the last, a victim of your life. Your life was a prison of my design. 'Cause I'm the alchemist, I lived a dozen lives. I, the sorcerer, who faced your demise. And from these walls, I made you all leave this curse of mine. The engineer of all you fear, the terror in your mind. I've sacrificed eternal life for justice, for the crime. Our lives were a prison of my design.
Loved it.
Yeah, just grasp that Eric Bloom will be 76 this year.
I knew Chris had the facts.
That's
it's
freaking
incredible.
insane.
I know.
Yeah,
No, there's a heavier one. I gotta play. It's mind blowing. But then we could go back to what we, the more expected BOC type stuff. And like I said, one is more like a Georgia Satellites type song. But oh my God, wasn't that killer? It's
Yeah, I was getting a smidge of like Glenn Danzig there.
Let me find the other one for you. But
yeah, one of my favorite albums by them is Revolution by Night in 1983. But yeah, they've always been an obscure band. I know they've had some stuff that they would almost fall into like a one-hit wonder, but they've had some pretty consistent stuff that's just flown under the radar for decades.
Oh yeah. No, they're awesome. They're awesome. I love them. And when I saw this coming out, I was like, oh God, please be good. Please be good.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's because you want them to do well, but it's just kind of all over the place. Like I was saying, it's not like a theme or anything, but I mean, if you kind of ignore it's all over the place, it's not like a theme album. No, it's pretty impressive. And I want to play this one for you guys. That's like heavier than that one. So 1 second. It's called Stand and Fight.
They only see shades of dirt, bone, and blood.
brought it the whole way, man. Of course, you got a bunch of new. He's got some younger
Yeah.
folks in there, man. But yeah, that was totally metal.
I know. I was really
Yeah,
shocked.
it was like a fine wine. They just get better with age, you know.
Oh my gosh, I was so impressed. So I kind of got sidetracked today. I was listening to the BOC album like all day because I was trying to do my due diligence for the other for a couple of the other albums that they were featuring. But my God, I was listening to that all day because Saint Celia song and a couple of the others are more BOC-ish that you would expect. But yeah, like I said, it's a little bit all over the place, but the quality is really good, even though it's not a cohesive theme. Everything's pretty damn solid. So hope you guys can check out the whole album. But hope you enjoyed those 2 tracks I played for you. The other one, let me see. Kiko. So you guys know Kiko Loureiro, right? He's the guitarist that's in Megadeth now. He was in that band Angra in Brazil. So he's a Brazilian guy, and he's been in Judas Priest, Megadeth for a few years. So he's done his own albums, and he's a really good guitarist. Let me see. Have you guys seen Blue Oyster Cult live? I'm trying to think. I don't know if I have. I don't. Have you guys?
I have not.
I don't think I have. I
Yeah, I
really
did
don't.
hear
I did in Idaho twice. Yeah.
Did you? How were they?
Yeah. Freaking fantastic. Yeah, they totally killed it.
Yep.
And
I
they
love
played some of their
listening
heavier stuff, and my musician, albeit conservative Mormon father, kind of freaked a little bit, but all's well that ended well.
Yeah, no, that's one of the bands I love listening to, but I don't think I've ever had the opportunity to watch them, so that's cool. So like I said, Kiko, he did this open source, like as with open source code, you have access to it. So he did something a little bit different. It was called open source. I was a little bit confused, and he said, "No, I will give you access to the backing tracks and the stems. So basically, you could play along and kind of create, kind of like go on the journey with me." So he gives you his stuff. I think it's all open now, but at the time, it was kind of too. He had early access to anyone who was kind of contributing to his, the crowdsourcing stuff. So you had it's like, oh, it's ready now, so you could download it and play along or whatever. So very different from the usual type of crowdsourcing type stuff. I mean, it was kind of interesting. So, and then he would on his own channel feature fans that would create videos from the stems that he provided, and they would play along or sing along. So pretty cool, and very different, and very how things are right now, the open source, but he did it with music instead of code. So I thought it was pretty interesting. So let's just check out one or two. Let me see. that awesome?
I'm very conflicted.
Tell me.
So there's so I'm not into the guitar fellation guitar virtuoso stuff.
Oh, okay, because I am a guitar geek, so
Yeah,
that's why I'm
but
like, I'll just play one track because it's not for everyone. But I'm a
but
huge guitar geek.
but on the other hand, he broke into a few freaking power chords and all that stuff. So I'm into the punch you in the face, break your fucking nose shit. And so so when somebody's going off and just freaking because
Okay.
so my yeah, so I don't know if you were watching Dennis from Propane. We were talking about something, and he was mentioning Paul Gilbert. And when we grew up, before we moved to Buffalo, New York, where I finished high school, we lived in Pittsburgh. And my older brother, I remember he was probably 17 or something at the time, maybe 18. And he came home from a practice one day, and he's like, "Yeah, man, this kid came over and played with us, man. His name was Gilbert, and
Oh,
he was
wow.
just like freaking all over it, man. He said he was like 15 or 16 at the time, and he was just freaking. He had fingers like spiders, and was just freaking blowing it up. And but my older brother was he was always the big Black Sabbath influence guy. And so he never did that kind of stuff. All the he was in a couple punk bands and all that, so it was never just ripping on just
Oh,
freaking
sure.
fretboard crap and all that
Yeah,
stuff. He
yeah.
could do it. He could do it, but he always was dropping the freaking serious tons of bricks metal on you. So
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah.
no, like I said, yeah, no, this is instrumental, and like I said, I love guitar and complete guitar geek. Vinnie Moore, like Jason Becker and Marty Friedman. I love that stuff. So, like I said, I'm not going to torture anyone who's not a guitar geek to listen to this stuff, but just interesting concept. I mean, especially you guys are computer kind of geeks, kind of, right? So the open source, but with music, I thought that was kind of an interesting concept. So yeah, he did something different and gave access to people, and then people took those tracks, right, and played along with them, did their own thing. And yeah, it was kind of interesting. When I hear the bits and pieces, I was like thinking, like, I don't think like how a vocalist would think, so I wouldn't even know what to do with them, but lots of people are doing a lot of creative things. And yeah, the whole crowdsourcing thing, more people are doing it. But I know Kiko is very popular, and that's why he got overfunded, within like way exceeded his goals in the amount of time that was given. So, but more props to him. And when I heard him with Megadeth, Chris, were we in San Bernardino when they played for that festival? Was Megadeth playing, or was it? Were we at
I
that
don't
one?
remember them playing. I don't remember
Okay,
them playing at that one.
Okay, I think it was Nikki and I the year after. Then I think it was the year after. So anyway, thanks for indulging. Is Tim still on? Because I know he's the Damn fan, but we could.
Yeah.
I am. I'm waiting for that
He
show right
is.
now.
Okay.
He's just saying I'm never talking to Chris again.
let me
let me
get
turn my
them
video.
some stage.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah. Oh
Hang
man.
on.
So
Yeah,
just to give you a background of what my older brother was, he never played anything outside of Gibson SGs, or he also had aluminum neck Kramers and stuff like that. So
Nice.
yeah, he played on some of those are all very, very woody and heavy guitars. So they got a lot of resonance, and they got a lot of depth to them.
It's funny you say that. My first guitar was a Rickenbacker. Same thing,
Oh,
real
wow.
heavy wood. Just had such a great sound to it. I kept trying to replicate it, and I ended up with Fenders and Gibsons, and it just was never the same. Damn it, light, turn on. Ozzy, go turn it on.
Yeah, and since it's recorded Chris, I'm sorry for flipping you off.
Well, if they're gonna,
You know I love you.
don't
You
they
know I
have an
love you.
algorithm coming out now because of the Zoom guy, man? Because you can't beat it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right. March is going to edit this
nice.
part out. Let's just get down to brass tacks. Who in the hell would be doing that during a corporate meeting? I mean, yeah,
Wait,
I'm sure we've all
who
had the
doesn't
urge,
do that?
but
Who doesn't
That's
do
happened
Oh,
that
okay,
during a
sure.
corporate meeting?
That's happened
before,
at our
during, and
company.
after.
I mean, that's happened
Oh, my
before at our own company, right? Like
Yep.
I don't know that guy, but he's a legend,
Yep.
right?
Not
So
not for any specific reason. Not like he wasn't muy bueno or anything.
I know. That's like the stuff that legends when you join that infosec, and I did a lot of security type privacy stuff, and it was like that story always. I'm like, did you hear about that? I'm like, yeah, you have to start like when you join that kind of group, you have to start with that story.
That's
So
right.
so the Damned did released a EP with 4 songs, so it's 17 minutes long. I'll start with the first one. I don't know if they did videos for it, but I mean, I'm cool with just listening to the audio.
Cool.
Total 4 songs, 17 minutes. Yeah, let's check it out, and I think I will just kind of finish up with our Swedish band, but let's play this for now. So let's see, get that ready. Pause it. I feel confident because now I know how to use iMovie to edit stuff. I was like very not confident until last week, and I had to kind of start doing stuff. So we're good.
I feel like I was warped back into almost the 60s.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. The thing I love
Yeah.
about this band, though, is like when they connect with their fans at the show. I mean, you really have a bond. It's
so
kind of
good.
a fun experience seeing them live. I mean, they do a really good job at connecting.
They're so good. Tim, I think you and Laura took me to that show. We had drinks at Marriott or something,
Yes.
and then it was at the Great American Music Hall. I was completely bruised and I was a mess, but it was
Yes.
so fun. They were so good. And then I think I saw them since that time. I think that was maybe one of the first times. And I saw them play at a Halloween show in 2018 here in San Francisco. And then I think didn't they open for the Misfits? They
Yes.
were one of the opening bands.
That was.
Were you guys
yeah.
there? Did you guys
Yes.
go? Okay.
I did. That was one of my favorite shows. And I remember, like, the
So
show
good.
that we went to, I was bruised from, like, my waist up
Oh my God, I
after
was so
that
sore.
show.
I was so sore. Yeah, that was fun. That was a great show. I think we had lots of cocktails at the Marriott, and like I felt no pain. So just slamming around, and the next day I'm like, oh, I think I couldn't move from the neck down. But it was totally worth it. It was awesome. So yeah, no, it's good what did you think of that song? I mean, thought it was pretty solid.
It
I
was,
liked it. That was good. They can't do any wrong for me. I love that band.
yeah, for me, it was totally tripped out because I'm totally used to the 80s, the quasi-punk scene when they were doing that. And so this is like dramatically different than that delivery. So it's like almost anti-goth rock. It's more, it's almost like doom rock.
Mhm.
I'm in the same boat there. I was expecting, more Joy Division, Bauhaus, Erasure
Oh, okay.
esque feeling,
Mhm.
and then it was totally
Uh-huh.
not the goth rock, and I was like, whoa, still good,
No, it
Exactly.
wasn't
still
at
very
all. It
good.
wasn't at all. Yeah, so I know we're kind of short on time and we haven't covered all the bands, but that was the first Keep 'Em Alive on the Rockfield Files that just came out. So it's 4 songs. The other 3 are Manipulator, The Spider and the Fly, Black as the Night extended mix at 4 minutes and 40. So yeah, check it out. Check it out. Let me see. Avatar. So Avatar, have you guys seen Avatar live?
Not seeing them live.
No.
So amazing. Saw them at the UC Theater a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I know they put on a show. I know that.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. I didn't even really know them, but after I saw it, it was like just mind blowing. So now I love them. So let me share a video, their latest video, Colossus from Avatar. So let me get that ready for you guys. Hope you enjoy it as much as I do. So let me get that ready. All right.
The human soul can be found within a single cell. It's like how the essence of a painting can be seen in a single brushstroke. Our drive to force our will upon the world is in shackles, as no thought is truly free. Freedom can only exist in a state of chaos. Chaos breeds in pits of conflict. Searching for slaves under the whip of infallibility, we enter this room. Within these walls, a child that never was is taken, as faceless beings reimagine the future. The birth of a giant with a frozen heart.
Never heard. Excuse me. Never heard of them before, but damn, they were pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. My friend Gerald took me to the show, and they were freaking amazing. So check out the rest of the album. Really great band live. I mean, you can kind of tell it's very theatrical, but just very solid. So
So
yeah, check it out.
back in the day, did you interview very many Swedish metal bands? Yeah.
Did you?
Oh yeah, well, yeah. They toured very heavily in the on the East Coast, and those countries fund. They give stipends to these bands for creativity. So they, basically a whole bunch of people like, hey, let's get together and form a band. The government gives them money, and so they all, kind of do these things and get together. And so we talked with a whole bunch of these different bands about that, and things
Mm-hmm.
that, were just very interesting, But when I first saw and heard these guys, I mean, it's like King Diamond, Merciful Fate to the nth degree.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I totally respect that because King Diamond and Merciful Fate fly way under the radar screen. You know, definitely one of those bands and genres that influence, like, Metallica plays to them. A whole bunch of different bands take influence from these guys, and it's great to see somebody doing it in more modern form. And they're a new band, so they'll be around for years.
Yeah,
I was
I
getting a bit
mean,
of a typo negative vibe also at the beginning.
Yeah, it's got a little
But
bit of goth rock to it for sure, no doubt about it.
yeah, but yeah, the
yeah,
King Diamond was totally right. Absolutely.
yeah, but check them out. Check them out. If you like King Diamond, I mean, for sure you will like them because, I mean, they were new to me. They're not a new band, but they were new to me. When I saw them at the UC Theater in Berkeley, I was blown away. Great show. I mean, I just, was riveted, like watching the
Yeah,
whole time, not distracted, not like, oh, let me get a drink. It's like, no, that can wait type of thing. So,
well,
yeah, I hope,
it's
you
it's
enjoyed
kind
them.
of funny the difference between the coasts because you've done more of the thrash metal stuff. On the East Coast, it's way more of the black metal and stuff like that. That's like if you were listening to the live stream from WKNC. I mean, it's 5 in the afternoon and we're freaking ripping some deicide, So
Yeah, you were just talking about that today when you pinged me. I'm like, wait, I'm researching BOC. I had to do some
oh yeah,
pre-work before.
yeah, they
But
were kicking
yeah,
hardcore.
that's all. Yeah, no, yeah, it sounds awesome. So, I mean, we're just so lucky now to have access. Before it was just like, maybe on the radio, the college radio, it's like, let me see if I could like tune in. It's like, oh, it's really clear right now. So, I
Hmm.
mean, we're so lucky. I mean, my kids these days, they're so lucky. They don't have, I mean, you could just get anything you want. But before, we were at the mercy of, like we were talking about, the DJs,
Hmm.
the people who program this stuff, to wait and wait for hours, poised, like the tape was ready to like hit record, but and sometimes it's like
Mm.
a kind of false alarm. It's like you start recording, like, oh, this isn't it. Oh, stop. Like kind of rewind
Oh
back,
yeah.
cue
Or
back
it's
to
just a
where,
snippet.
yeah. So yeah. Who's calling me from Des Moines, Iowa? But anyway, God. But no, seriously, Jeremy, I know you're a big King fan. You would love Avatar. You would love Avatar. So please check them out, and then we could
I-
have a listening party, or let's discuss.
I'm totally down. I just pulled up their YouTube page, so I'm gonna go through the whole lot here.
Yeah, no, you would love them. You would love
Cool.
them for sure. I think the last one was the Disciples of Verity. So that's Corey Glover, from In Living Color. He's been doing this,
Yeah,
and
love them.
yeah, they're so good, so good. So he's, has lots of course, shredder types as guests. Like I said, Jeff Loomis from Arch Enemy, Nevermore, and actually Phil Demmel,
Hmm.
one of our favorites from Violence. So he actually has a video with Phil Demmel. So it's a little bit over the time. So if you can stay, I'm going to play the Disciples of Verity, the one with Phil, and Then if anyone has extra time, they want to hang out, I'll play the video of that comedian that lived at Eddie Van Halen's house for a few months, and it's hilarious.
Oh, cool.
So a friend of mine posted it. It was so funny. But let me play this from the Disciples, and then we'll go from there. So let me bring that up. Okay. Oh, is anyone a fan, as I was bringing up, of Devin Townsend?
Oh
You
yeah.
know, Strapping Young Life. He's very interesting because he has that part, and I don't really, to be honest, his vocals in that I didn't enjoy, but the Devin Townsend project and the other stuff that he does, that guy is amazing.
Yeah. So there's one of those lists listen to like Cemetery Gates and all that. Anyways, there's this one chick in England that was like digging on him. She obviously has the hots for him. There's no question about it. She's got a thing for him, man. And
All right.
yeah, he's pretty amazing.
He's very talented. He's very diverse. He's not a one-trick pony. That's the thing. That was kind of my point. It's like Strapping Young Lad. It was cool, but it was like the vocals, and it was totally unappealing. So it kind of turned me off. But I've been kind of following him, and holy crap, was like he's very diverse. Let's just leave it at that. And so Devin Townsend Project, that's the band that I really like. And then he does some other stuff that's more kind of poppy, kind of almost like children's oriented stuff. But yeah, Devin Townsend, check him out. Check him out. So here's a video that features Phil Demmel. He's the guest guitarist on this one. I'm gonna close off the official program with this one, and anyone that could stay for that Eddie Van Halen, that snippet on, you might enjoy. But let me just close off with this one. It's really good.
great song.
Did you like it?
I did, yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. He does a lot of collaboration with lots of stars, you know, guest guitars like Phil and Jeff and stuff. So wanted to share that with you guys. But yeah, so that's, I think, hang on, let me just take a look. I think yay. It's like, yes, I did cover everything in the allotted time. But yeah, no, this was awesome, and I wanted to share. So the past like week or two has been kind of weird, and I've been listening to a ton of Van Halen, and I mean, have you guys?
Nothing after 1984.
Nothing after. Yeah, no, like I was saying, I was checking. No, actually, I really, you know, which one was surprising that I totally overlooked, because it was during the time of probably like the Alice in Chains and the Soundgarden, the Balance album. The Balance album. Do you guys know that one?
Is that more Van Hagar?
It is. It's really good, actually. Because I was kind of just going back and going through, and then I was like, you know, I don't think I even know that one, because it was in 96-ish. I know I wasn't listening to that. And when I checked it out, I was like, holy crap, it's like so good. That was kind of surprising, and just like what we were talking about earlier, it's like the deep cuts and stuff, the ones that aren't the top 10, top 40 type songs, checking out the more obscure stuff. I haven't been checking out the stuff that I really like know by heart. So it's been really cool, actually. It's sad, but what a legacy. I mean, what a talent. And just, you know, it's it hit hard. It hit hard. I didn't realize it's like, you know, how important he was, really. I mean, kind of take it for granted, right? I mean, his music will always live on, you know, which is great, but, you know, he is gone now. But just an amazing legacy he left, and how he influenced so many people and discouraged lots of people at the same time, because, you know, it's like, oh, I want to play that, because I think I'm in one of my posts, I talk about taking guitar lessons. And I think one of my first guitar lessons, I asked my guitar teacher to teach me how to play Ain't Talking About Love. You know, that was, I remember he wrote it out in tablature for me. Like, thank you. But, you know, how important he really was, and how talented, and I mean, just one of a kind, really.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, so this show, actually, I like this new show theme, because we did it a month ago, and I thought it was kind of fun to check out new stuff together. I was starting to do the Van Halen one, but I was almost like, I started to type up like the poster, and like, oh, I think I'm, you know, I'm a little bit drained almost from that. But I did want to bring it up, of course, because we didn't really talk about it the past couple of weeks. But I wanted to share, I mean, anyone who can stay, it was a comedian that talked about how he ended up living at Eddie Van Halen's house for a bit of time. So anyone that's able to stay and check out this bit, you know, I'm gonna bring it up and share it with you guys. But if not, thank you for joining. But hope you can stay. It's not too long, but you'll get a kick out of it, because I checked it out first thing this morning, and I really enjoyed it. So I wanted to share it with you all. So let me find it.
I got 13% left on the battery.
I know.
I'll ride until the wheels fall off. So
Thank you.
Stick around.
My AirPods just pretty much died, so I'm speaking through the speaker. If my voice quality sounds funky, it's because of that. So hang on 1 second. I'll bring it really quick, and I think we'll all enjoy it together. So 1 second. Oh, I also posted a cover of that "We Care a Lot" by Faith No More. Did anyone check it out?
No.
Yeah,
I
it was
gotta check
good.
that out. That's one of my favorite songs.
You didn't? Okay.
No.
Let me do that really quick. Let's stay in the now really
All right.
quick, and then let me bring it up here. Hang on 1 second. Oh, you guys will love it. Hang on, let me get this ready. You'll love it.
Hey guys, did you forget about me?
So when I watched that, I was the intersectionality of all the different bands and the people that normally would not be associated with each other was always what got me. And and of course then throwing a dude from Men Without Hats. I mean, like that was from totally left field. But what really attracted that to me was the dude from Quicksand. We played Quicksand pretty heavily. A lot of people didn't really know much about that band, but they freaking pounded ass back in the day. I mean, them and Helmet and a whole bunch of other
Oh, yeah.
bands right around. Yeah, they weren't part of the freaking Seattle scene really. You know, they were more of the punk scene, and we played them pretty heavily, and it's great to see that they're still around and doing stuff.
Yeah. Isn't it great? Yeah, I loved back in the day Helmet Page and the band. I think they
Yeah.
played in San Francisco a couple of years ago. Small show downstairs at DNA. Freaking awesome. I just love that band. So I thought you guys would enjoy that because it's not mainstream, you know, but those who know, when you see those guys, you're like, oh, you know, and I know Chris
Yeah.
identified with that.
Well, then put on top of it, Faith No More, even though they were like a, you guys might not appreciate them out there in San Francisco as much.
I
I know
do.
there's like this-
I love
Yeah.
that band, but I'm from Florida, so.
Yeah. So you're not. Yeah, there's like this real hot and cold thing out in California. Everybody's like, oh, they're so cliche and.
Oh,
you know,
really?
blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, man.
No. I mean, in the Bay Area here, no, we love them. We love them, and like, they've been very beloved band here in the San Francisco Bay Area for sure. But
Yeah.
really, did they have that kind of reputation? Cliche.
No, there's a lot of people. I guess there's other people within the scene that appreciate them more. There's a lot of people that was like, they switched them off after 2 years.
Huh.
And even after I think, in my view, they kind of tapered off in the mid to late 90s. They really had some top-notch stuff back then.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people put off with Mr. Bungle and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah. No, the Mr. Bungle. Yeah, that Mr. Bungle was touch and go because Mike Patton was really good, but it's like, yeah, I kind of boycotted Mike Patton because he would just waste people's time. You just like lag and then finally get up there and then just dick around. It's like, oh, let me pee into my boot and drink out of it. I'm like, I've been here for hours now. So when I see that kind of shit, then I that was my attitude. Like, I'm over it, meaning Mike Patton and his shenanigans. But otherwise, Faith No More was one of the best bands. It's like, we were so lucky to have like those bands like the Faith No More, Primus, playing at clubs like the Stone at the Omni at the time. I mean, the tiny place, walls in the ceiling, you think, you're just sweating. I mean, you could not even breathe. It was so packed. So good, though.
The Primus story was tripped out that they even considered to put him, Les Claypool, and frickin' Metallica. That would have been, I don't know what the fuck that would have turned into, because it's like pithballs, because Les Claypool would never conform to what those guys are doing.
No, that would have been interesting. I mean, but that was a part of that whole Bay Area scene. So Les was a big player in that scene. So, but it didn't happen. So we'll never find out. It won't.
I have a feeling that it would probably be like Claypool's NIB on the Nativity in Black album.
Mm.
That's probably what it would be because that's at least, it's got his bass element. It also has the heavy metal, whereas the rest of his projects are typically not. Actually, have you guys heard the one he did with Sean Lennon or Julian Lennon? I think Sean Lennon.
Probably
Him and Les Claypool.
Would have been Julian
or Sean.
Well, one of them, he did. They did a side project together, and it's literally would be what the Beatles could have been.
Really?
That whole album, yeah. I was like blown away. I damn it! All right, now I gotta Google.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Let me see.
Google faster. The Claypool Lennon Delirium.
Delirium. Yes, the Delirium.
Interesting. No, I didn't know about this.
Check that album out. It's a mix between like Sgt. Pepper's and their more refined later stuff like Let It Be or Abbey Road or something.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
With obviously Claypool's influence.
We'll check it out. We might, I'll take a look and maybe we could discuss it at a future happy hour. Sounds good. But I'm gonna finish this off. I'm not sure. I mean, like my AirPods are totally dead, but I'm on speaker, so apologize for bad quality. But I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this bit from this stand-up guide that talks about living at Eddie Van Halen. It's, you guys will get a kick out of it. So hopefully you could hang out. If not, I'll send you the link afterwards. But I'm going to share it right now if you don't mind. And thanks for joining. This was really fun. I love these kind of like best of kind of things, because when we all get to chat a little bit more. So it was really fun. So thank you. If you guys have to drop off before this video ends, but I'm going to play this for you because I think you'll enjoy it as much as I did.
Good to see y'all.
All right, 1 second. Oops. Hang on, let me get it to the right tab. Here it is. Here it is.
And while we're waiting, Jeremy, I'm measuring time by your beard, by the way.
You know, it's funny. My own kid said that. She was like, "Didn't you have skin at the beginning of the summer?" It's like, yeah, I did.
All right.
Yeah, when you start putting it in a ponytail, like in the beard, I'm gonna die. So.
Oh my God. Let's start measuring it. Jeremy will measure it, and we're gonna measure it every week, every time we meet from then on. All right, I'm gonna play it. Whoever can stick around, but I'm gonna. It's 10 minutes long, but I think you'll enjoy it. So.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys.
Being involved in the story, but so I
Just
won't say
say
his
a
name.
friend. Just
I
say
have
a
a
friend
buddy
of
of mine says he's introduced me to people because I don't know anybody in Los Angeles, and he goes, "Hey, I'm going to introduce you," and he's you know doing whatever an LA thing. And at one point he says, he goes, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna introduce you to this guy who lives with one of the biggest rock stars on the planet. But don't tell him I told you that. Come here, Maddie." Hey, Maddie, this is my friend Craig Gass. I don't know if you listen to this show, if you watch this TV show, and this guy turns around and he goes, "Oh my God, dude, I'm your biggest fan." I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Dude, I saw you at the Roxy last year. I went to the House of Blues and paid $50 to a scalper to watch you open for Robert Schimmel and Richard Jenny." And
that's a good show.
Oh yeah,
that's a damn good show.
But yeah, man, I love your stuff. And so we start talking. We make plans to go bowling, and we get to the bowling alley. And he says, "Do you mind if I bring my friend Ed with me?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." And he goes, "All right," because he's got a kid. His kid's.
I hate when people say that.
Yeah.
No, just say it's Eddie Van Halen. Don't be
you
that
gotta be
guy
cool.
where you're
You
like,
gotta be
"Hey,
cool."
mind if I bring my friend Ed?"
My friend Ed. And I go, "Yeah, of course." And he goes, "Well, he's got a kid. His kid's 13. And I go, "Dude, it's bowling. Who gives a shit?" And we get to the bowling alley, and I'm there with a couple of my friends. This guy shows up, Maddie, and then his buddy Ed's not there. And he said, "Oh, he's always late." And then we're waiting for a lane to open up, and I look over and I go, "Holy shit! Look who just walked in! Look at that! 3 o'clock! Look at that! Who's that right there? Is that?" And the guy stands up and goes, "Ed!" Eddie Van Halen, smoking a cigarette in the bowling alley, comes over. "Hey, which one of you guys is a comedian?" And I go, "That's me. I'm Craig." He goes, "Hey, I'm Eddie Van Halen." And I go, "Yeah, how you doing?"
Yeah, we all know.
And he turns around, "Wolfie, this is the guy. This is the fucking guy right here. Here's the guy." And I come to find out that this guy, Maddie, who I had met the week before, is Eddie's assistant. Maddie lives on the property in a guest house, and Maddie runs the 5150 studios on the property, and he happens to be the biggest Stern fan on the planet. And I was auditioning that year to be Howard's sidekick.
Right.
And so apparently he was running down to Ed's house every day that I was on and saying, there's a guy on the Stern show now who does a Paul Stanley impression. There's a guy on the Stern show now who does a Sam Kinison impression. There's a guy who does whatever. And he starts hearing all these stories. And at the bowling alley, Eddie Van Halen is telling me my life story that he heard third hand through his assistant. And one of the stories was that I have been broke my whole life. And the only thing I've ever wanted to own was an illegal cable box. That's all I've ever wanted was an illegal cable box. And I finally was able to buy one.
You can get one at 125th Street.
I think it was $300, and I got the illegal cable box. And Eddie at the bowling alley goes, "I heard you were broke your whole life." He goes, "Me too." He goes, "I heard all you ever wanted was a legal cable box." He goes, "That's crazy," because and he looks both ways. I got an illegal cable box too. And I go, really?
Eddie Van Halen stealing cable.
I go, really? And then Eddie goes, yeah. He goes, the thing is, I'm fucking rich, but don't want to pay for cable. And I was like, are you fucking serious? And he goes, yeah. And so over the course of the next year and a half, this guy Matty and I would hang out from time to time, and I'd come over to the house, and then Eddie would be there. Hey, you got some jokes? You want to see some free cable? And I'm like, no. I'm good. And then I got in a bad relationship that went south really quick. And I called my buddy and said something really bad happened one night. I was out with a girl, and she did something that was just really, really difficult to deal with. And I called the guy up, and I said, man, I need to talk to somebody. I'm going through a tough time tonight. And he put me on the phone with Eddie, and Eddie said, dude, I told you she's a fucking skank. And I go, I know. And he goes, what the fuck are you living with her for? And I go, I'm living with her because I got nowhere. She's the only person I know in LA. He goes, dude, pack up your shit and move in with me. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, as long as you want. He goes, the only thing is, don't tell anybody, but the band's getting back together, you know?
Holy
he
shit.
Goes, so it's going to be kind of noisy at night. And I go, so the only thing I got to worry about is the fact that
you're gonna be,
Van Halen is going to be. He wants me to
rehearsing.
stay.
Yeah, you're gonna be awake at night because you're hearing them.
He said you can sleep on the couch in the studio, and he said the only thing is the band's going to be getting back together, so it'll be noisy at night. And I go, because Van Halen's going to be jamming in the next room, and he goes, well, I know you're working on your TV show because I was filming a new TV show at the time called Las Vegas,
right?
And so the girl came back. She's hammered. She goes, I'm sorry. I'm really drunk. I didn't mean to. And I go, you know what? You can suck everyone's dick in this room if you want, because I'm moving in with Eddie Van Halen. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Packed my shit up, moved up to Eddie's house, and I lived there for 4 months in 2004 while the band was reuniting with Sammy. And they tried to document it. They had people documenting the whole reunion, but it was tense.
Yeah.
And the kids who were filming every day, it was just a decision was made, like, we can't release any of this. So, but I remember going to a concert with Maddie, the assistant. We went to a Metallica show, and I met a girl, really nice girl, at this concert who said, we exchanged phone numbers, and I texted her after the show and said, hey, do you want to hang out? And she said, yeah, let me call you in a half hour. And she called me and she said, hey, what do you want to do? And I said, I don't know. What do you want to do? And she goes, you want me to come to your place? And I said, yeah. I don't. Hang on. Let me find out. And she goes, oh, you have a girlfriend? And I go, no, I don't have a girlfriend. But you know what? It's just weird. I'm in a weird. Hold on. And I go, Ed, hey, I met a girl tonight at the show. She wants to come up here. Do you mind going? And he goes, dude, get some fucking pussy. And I go, all right. And I go, all right. So I call her up and I go, yeah, can you meet me at the bottom of this road? There's a Ralph's at the bottom. And she goes, you don't want me to meet your address? I go, no, I'll bring you up. And then I met her in the parking lot. I say, yeah, just, and she goes, so what's going on? Why do you have to get permission for me to come over? I go, and I don't know how to tell her. I live at Eddie Van Halen's. I didn't know how to say it, so I go, I'm in a weird situation, and I live with somebody, and it's just something that we get up, and I use the back gate, and there's two gates that go in. I went to the back gate, and then I parked next to the studio, and I still haven't said anything. I open the door to the lounge, to the studio. She walks in and goes, wow. Is your friend like the biggest Van Halen fan on the planet or what? and then she starts noticing shit on the walls and she goes, what the fuck? How did your friend, how do you get that? And it's from Warner Brothers Records. It's the cover of all the Van Halen albums. And it says commemoration for 60 million albums sold. And she said, how did your friend get this? And I said, do you hear the noise in the next room? That's Van Halen. This is Eddie Van Halen's house, and it's kind of a long story, but he's letting me live here until I can get back on my feet. And she goes, oh, okay.
Zip,
okay.
fling.
Yeah. It was immediate. That's always the next question, and it was immediate. Although
fix on it.
Although the conversation leading up to that moment was just a lot of her looking, because my back was to the studio door, so she was talking to me going like, looking over my shoulder,
Yeah, of course.
looking at, you know.
So how did that end? Did Eddie kick you out, or you finally realized I gotta move on?
It ends badly.
Oh, you're smiling.
Oh.
It ends badly.
It does. So you don't talk to Eddie Van Halen anymore.
Not because of Eddie. So a year later, the ex texted me and said, I hadn't talked to her in a year. I just want you to know that Maddie and I are in love. And giving her the benefit of the doubt, I texted her back and I said, Maddie who?
Right.
And she wrote back and said, well, he feels terrible because he loves you. And I was hanging out with this guy all the time.
What the fuck?
And they were together for 5 years and almost ended up getting married. They finally separated, but yeah. But Eddie was.
But you couldn't handle being around Maddie anymore, obviously. So you had to give up your Eddie Van Halen.
It was the instant like, oh shit, okay. And it was like I was actually more bummed out about him than I was about her because I got over her.
Yeah, sure.
But were you doing that thing like, but it's Eddie Van Halen that I get to hang around?
I called him a couple years later. They were going on tour, and I called him up, and he picked up the phone. He goes, "Hey, who's this?" I go, Ed, it's Craig Gass. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I go, "Nothing, man. What are you doing?" He goes, "Sitting on the toilet, taking a shit." And I go,
"No.
You want me to call you back?" And he goes, "No. What's going on?" I go, "You know what? I'll call you back. Eddie was the.
You just made Eddie Van Halen sound like the coolest guy.
Really?
He is the coolest guy. He was.
That's awesome.
That was pretty good.
I think you're on mute, March.
I was saying that seems legit to me.
Yeah. And if you guys call me, that'll happen here too.
Oh, yeah, I'm back.
Oh, if I call you Tim, you're gonna be shitting.
I might. I mean, I've been feeding the cats, so
Sausage is made. A lot of people don't realize that everything gets really. So I got to hang out with Maynard in '95. It just happens that one of those chicks who worked for me at a radio station, she was friends with him. We go out there to Burbank to do frickin' foundations for him, and they're like, "Hey, come on over and stay at Maynard's place." I wasn't a Tool fan at the time, and but we went over there, we hung out and stuff like that, and people are like, how the fuck does that happen? And it says, some people just kind of know each other, and they're friends. And it doesn't have to be all that in a bag of chips is really what it comes down to.
Right. Sometimes things just happen. But yeah, I thought that was really, really funny. It's like, what are the chances, like, of course, the ex-girlfriend, hooking up with Maddie? It's like, no. It's like you just like feel bad. You're like, oh my God, stop.
No, that is so California.
True.
Shit's crazy out there, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys keep it on the tracks.
It's pretty calm now for the past, I mean, it was kind of like that. It was like, Chris, when we were talking, like when you were doing radio and I was doing that kind of, interviewing stuff, it's like, oh, you have an interview with, I was telling you, like Megadeth. It's like, okay, or Dave Ellefson or whatever. It's like, okay, so we get to Foundations Forum. It's like, oh yeah, you have an appointment at this time. Like you can show up with your, you have a photo pass photographer. I'm like, okay, show up at their suite in the hotel at Foundations Forum in 1990, right? Thinking I'm talking to Dave Ellefson, the whole band is right there on the sofa. So I think I told you guys before, it was like, oh, hey. So the person opened the door. Hi, we have an appointment with Dave. I'm like, having an interview. Okay, what's your name? March with Carol. Okay, yeah, you're on the list. Yeah, come on in. So come in. It's like all the guys, like, Marty, like Nick, everyone, Dave on the couch. It's like, I have an interview with Dave. But I didn't specify, right? So Dave Mustaine, I've talked about this before. He stood up, like very like grumpy looking, like, oh, okay, like all right, here I am. I'm like, and at that time I was super young. Like I think I wasn't even 21. I was like maybe 20 or something, just very naive, thinking, oh crap, it's like I know my interview was with Dave Ellefson, but then Dave Mustaine's answering right. He's like, oh, here I am, like annoyed, kind of like, here I am. I'm like, oh, but I was so honest because I just couldn't roll with it. So I'm like, actually, with Dave Ellefson, and then Dave Ellefson like stood up, like smiled, like, oh, here I am. So that was like very, very memorable. They all stayed, like Nick and Marty and like everyone was there, and they all just kind of stayed sitting on the couch as I was interviewing Dave Ellefson, because I said, oh no, actually the appointment was Ellefson, not with Mustaine, and Mustaine's like sat back down, like I can't believe this is happening type of thing, but he stayed. So like you said, only in California, like that stuff does happen. It was very surreal when it's happening. You're just like, this is so weird, but I'm just gonna roll with it, right? But unfortunately, the party ended when we had a party in our room later that night with people that we knew, and someone stole my tape recorder with that interview and my camera.
Oh,
So
geez.
yeah, that kind of turned me off to the whole thing. Like that was 90, and I was writing in 89. 88 starting with Sean Killian and Violence, 89, 90, and then and that kind of stuff happens, and it's like I was over it,
Yeah.
so
There were some sketchy folks around the scene for sure.
yeah.
There were some. I can't remember. Most of the bands were all right.
Yeah,
it was just some of the folks were obscure for sure, but there was a couple bands that came through, and it's like, yeah, you guys are fucking human refuse. I mean, you're the guys that would get the chicks drunk and frickin' try to bag them and stuff like that. Yeah, there were some of those creepy dudes, but for the most part, yeah, most of them were all right.
Yeah, for the most part, like the bands were fine. It was like whoever my guests were that I thought I knew, like in our hotel room. Yeah, they stole from us, and that kind of turned me off. So I actually have some interviews that I found. I've been doing a lot of cleaning with this whole shelter in place, and I'm like, who is this? I was like playing tapes, right, Chris? And I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, this is my Jerry Cantrell interview that I never wrote up.
Nice.
Yeah, stuff like that, and I'm like, who is this? And it's like, oh my god, this Mordred. When they first hired DJ Paz, I was with the drummer, just all kinds of random stuff. I'm going through tapes, like going through them, so it's kind of fun. But yeah, it was very surreal at the time, but felt super lucky to attend those kind of conferences, where you would have Pantera and like all these like Soundgarden at these showcases in these tiny places. So feeling very fortunate. But
well,
yeah.
it's funny. They're a footnote in your book, but I bet you're a footnote in their book. They're like,
you're right.
Yeah, dude. Do you remember when you thought that girl was coming in to interview you?
That's so funny.
True.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true, because he couldn't believe it. He was like, "Huh? Like what?" Like actually, him, and like you should have seen the look on Dave Ellefson's face. He's like, "Oh, like, let me get up there." So it was pretty. Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, you never think about that kind of stuff. But yeah, like thinking about the interviews with like Pantera, yeah, like those guys, and like the Sepultura guys, and just sitting just in the same room, like little dressing room, and talking to them. It was cool. But yeah, you don't know what they remember, but that kind of stuff they probably remember, because it was just like so funny. It was just like I could have rolled with it. I kept like I was conflicted after. I'm like I should have rolled with it, but then in the end I was like, oh, I'm glad I just kind of was honest. I'm like, no, the publicist scheduled it with Dave Ellefson, so I had to honor that. And I was you were talking about this before. I was prepped to talk to Dave E, not the other Dave. So you don't want to just kind of all your research and all your questions are like, oh crap, like what am I going to do now? So I have to stay true.
YouTube videos. I was just watching one the other day where, basically the band members were like, hey, the interview was like a total dick. Somebody that came in totally unprepared or asked them some really like these bands, there are the touchy areas. Like, somebody says, don't fucking mention this. And this is not like something from a movie. It really is like, if you want to find your way out of a room really quick, is to mention something, they'll just like, get the fuck out of here. Get you and everybody the fuck out of this room. You're all done. So yeah, you some of it you have to, I wouldn't say tippy toe, but there are some areas where some of these folks like don't go and pick a fucking scab or something.
Yeah. But sometimes, but it's like the people, sometimes it's like their own people, they want to egg them on. Like just last week, it was like, don't ask me about that. We go way back, so I can ask you not to ask me about that. I'm like, okay, but it was like his own colleague that said, and about that, I'm like, because I said I wasn't going to bring it up, but he did, that type of thing.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So, I wanted to share that with you because it was like, oh my God. I mean, just all the stuff. I mean, I never really was obsessed with Eddie Van Halen. I mean, aside from enjoying his playing and stuff, but of course, now that he's gone, we're going back to these interviews and all these kind of cool kind of things that we've, kind of unearthed, and it's been cool. It's been great, and I've been revisiting the catalog, like the other stuff that I didn't really know very well, and it's been really enjoyable. And it's like I said, I was going to do that as the theme, but I kind of wanted to kind of be moving forward on new stuff, and I thought we could always, if we had time, talk about him, or play stuff like what I just played. So it's interesting. I mean, we knew he was sick. I mean, he's not going to last forever, but it really hit hard. I mean, when he passed away, and what it really meant, because
plus March is also another example of our own humanity. We're also not forever as well. It's just another nail in the coffin. Besides the death of a loved one, now it's a loved musician or someone that we respect.
Exactly, Jeremy. It's like, my dad passed away, but he was 80, but still, it's my dad, and I loved him. But Eddie Van Halen, you knew he was sick for a while. It's not like it was a surprise, but it's like, but still, it's like, wow. It's like the impact that he made, when you really kind of really deep dive into all this stuff, and the talking about the deep cuts that we may not really know that well unless you really were a huge fan. Like it's been enjoyable kind of revisiting and kind of discovering stuff. I was like, wait, Balance album, it's like, when was that? 96. It's like, I wasn't listening to that in 96, I know for sure, but when I listen to it now, it was amazing. It was amazing. So
leave me on a positive note here, please.
I'm sorry. What, Chris?
I said, leave me on a positive note here, please.
Oh, no. No, it's all good. It's all good, but it's just amazing how amazing what an impact like someone like that. And wait, was it Chris? Was it you that posted that thing about Randy Rhoads?
Oh yeah. Well,
it was you.
Yeah, that was what struck me about parts of that album, because that album was, there's everybody goes with the cliche band stuff, I go back to the interview with Mike from Corrosion, the girls at my station asked him like, hey, why don't you guys sound like, the stuff when you originally came out? And he's like, well, we learned to play guitar, we learned to play better. And I was like, I about fell out of my freaking chair when he said that. I was like, holy shit, that's funny as hell. But it's true. And the same thing that happens some of these bands and all that stuff, how they change. But I look at that album and I'm like, okay, I get it. They changed. For some odd reason, they changed. I attribute it at that time to the rise of Randy Rhoads. Which, because, Eddie Van Halen was the man at that time. And then suddenly Randy Rhoads and Ozzy Osbourne blaze onto the scene and frickin' just unhinged everything. Totally rewrote what the whole scene was at that time.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting because hearing that solos on that one was like, whoa, that's not the typical Van Halen type Eddie solo at all. And lots of it kind of funky, it was cool. So, because at first it's like, it's not familiar. I think lots of people are dismissive because it's like, I don't know this. And people are just typically like that. Like they don't know it, so it sucks or it whatever. It doesn't at all. The more I dig in, I've been listening the hell out of it for the past 2 weeks. And that's why I came up with, because then Mark Biederman, he's like posting all this stuff. It's like, do you want me to comment or do you want to discuss what's going on? Like maybe we should just do a whole show on it because it's worthy of it, because it is different. It's not that familiar. Mean Streets is probably, and the other one, and This Is Love, are the biggest ones, but the deep cuts are the ones that were like, holy shit. You know, when you listen, when you just drill down on those, you're like, whoa. And I kept playing. I was been obsessed for the last
Yeah.
week listening to
What
that shit.
what the missing factor is, you don't have those people to talk to and see
Right.
how it happened, what happened the way it did, because
I wonder, well, we could dig deeper because I never really like Googled on it. Let's see if we could find anything, you know, that
well,
he talks about that.
yeah, I mean, it's really one of those things where you really kind of have to talk to them. It's you know, yeah,
Right.
man, we were like holed up in this freaking place for like 3 months, and we just, you know, we were just jamming, and this is what we came up. You know, it's
No, it's so
sometimes
cool.
sometimes it's stories like that.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Like that one that you called out, I'm like listening to it over and over. It's like basically it just goes 1, 2, and then it goes into the verse. There's like no intro, nothing.
Yeah.
It feels like you've kind of like walked in on something. You're like, oh, and then he kind of starts, and then the solo is more than 50% of the song, right? It's like more, and then all of a sudden it just ends. It just drops off, and it's like, what was that all about?
Yeah.
And people are saying, oh, that could have gone on. I'm like, but what was the backstory? I mean, it would be interesting to talk to the producer, if he's still alive on that one, to see what was going on there, because that wasn't their typical. It was just like a nugget. It was just like just jumping in,
Right.
and then it was done, and it was like, oh shit. But yeah, it felt like you were intruding. It was like, and then it just kind of starts, and then it ends solo, and then it just go, and then it's done. So yeah, it was very special. But yeah, it's the deep cuts that are kind of interesting to me because I know all the other stuff by heart. It's just the other stuff I don't know that's been really interesting. So, and that album, it's like becoming probably a favorite because it's very different from the formula stuff. Trying
for the
different stuff.
Well, for the stuff that you're digging up that you haven't done anything with, you should just publish them, you know, post haste. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's like, you know, you just put it out on Facebook, you know, or put it out
That's
on
why
Instagram or something.
No, it was the coolest thing. That's why I said a deep cut that I really enjoy, and then all of a sudden, like you and other people were like all jumping in, saying, yeah, this and this. So that's the cool
Well,
stuff.
I mean,
It's
I'm
like
talking about some of your interview stuff. If you have unpublished interview stuff, yeah, I mean, certainly nowadays you could just freaking hit the translate shit, you know, and it'll transcribe it.
Yeah, no. Yo, you mean the stuff I found, the found stuff? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I will. But it's because, you know, now with the layoff and stuff, I've had time and like gone through. Yesterday, I went to my mom's house in Castro Valley. I found like the rest of my albums and like all these. Basically, it's like a time capsule of like the late 80s, 90s. It was like perfect, like order. And Gerald was saying, "Oh, do you know it's the 30th anniversary?" I'm like, "Probably, because I just found all these CDs and never touched since probably 89.
Nice.
You know what I mean? 90, just in a box, just brand new." And I picked them up yesterday. So I was at Amoeba Records right before this happy hour started, looking for turntables because I'm interested in that, because I found the rest of my vinyl and stuff. So I wanna play it. And my stereo's set up. I just need to plug in the turntable. So I want to invest in that next. So
well, a good turntable and needle will cost you some serious money.
Do you have one right now? Any suggestions?
No, I got out of that game a long time ago. The last needle I bought was in the 80s, and it was $495.
Yeah, I remember it was super expensive.
Yeah.
Tim, what about you?
No, no needles.
No vinyl?
He's off heroin, man.
I'm off the junk, yeah.
He's off the junk.
Yeah, no. I mean, I see some stuff on crazy. I just don't know what to do. And then so yesterday I was at my mom's house. And she's like all looking at me, Mom, do you think I'm going to steal something? She's like all in the garage. I'm like, oh, gotta toss this. Like, you know, but no, I found all these albums, all these CDs. It's been cool. But now the next step, my brother said, there's 2 turntables somewhere and a microphone. I said, I did not see the 2 turntables, but I found like 6 microphones for karaoke. So.
Yeah. Isn't that a Beck song?
Yeah. I seriously found like 6. I found many microphones, but no turntables. So that's my next quest. So I went to, like I said, Amoeba Records right before this. Oh, like that.
That's like right behind you there.
Yeah. Yeah, I went there, and they're like about $50 more than of course in Amazon, but I think Streetlight down in the South Bay, it's like if you buy it, then you get credits for vinyl and stuff. So I might do that. I mean, it'd be good to give the money to smaller businesses rather than like Amazon or something.
Yeah. So my advice to you is you probably don't have anything collectible. No offense. So
you don't know what I got.
You might. I mean, but the chances are probably not. And if you don't have anything that's really collectible, I wouldn't spend a lot of money. But you have the difference between direct drive. We use direct drive at the radio station, or belt drive, and
or what's the other one?
Direct drive or belt drive. Yeah.
Belt drive. Okay.
Yeah, the super fancy ones are belt drive. They have massive platters. They might weigh 15 pounds. It's everything to keep the wow and flutter and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's way more money than you would ever want to invest in this stuff.
That you need. Right. Okay.
Exactly. You could probably do $200 and be satisfied.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah, and not that you're like grinding a hole in your freaking record, because that's what I have a lot of single play records. I would buy the record, play it, and I would immediately record it and make a master copy so I'd never have to play it again.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I found I remember one of my first singles I got was from the junior high dance. I won it somehow, and it was Prince, a single of Prince's Controversy, and it's like in pristine shape. I'm like, oh my god! So
cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I have one of those screw you, I do have valuable record stories.
What do you got? What you got?
When I was a kid, my mom she was an au pair for this rich family in Montecito, and they had an attic above their garage, and they said, hey Kelly, go up there and clean it up. And most of it was crap, she was throwing stuff away. She gets to this box, it's full of records. She said, oh, there's a box full of records. And like, yeah, we don't need them. We have CDs. We converted most everything. It's cool.
Sure.
So she starts going through it. There's a White Album signed by John Lennon.
Oh my
There's
God.
Sgt. Pepper's signed by Paul McCartney. There's something else in there. And so, and my mom had already taken it home, so she ended up giving back one of them, but she kept the White Album, which I thought was cool. I was like, all right. It's like, when you die, right? She's like, yeah, okay.
Wow.
She's like, yeah, screw you, buddy.
Yeah, no,
that's going in the grave with me.
Yeah, no, I was at Amoeba. I know there's some websites, but it's like you'll see like cassettes that are like worth something. I'm like, oh shit, because I do seriously have like a lot of this stuff from back in the day, like the late 80s and the early 90s.
Yeah, just go to discogs.com.
That's what Gerald was saying. Yeah. I'll look there because he's like, oh, I know. So I sent him a picture. He's like, oh, you have an extra copy of this. Do you want it? And I'm like thinking, let me look it up first.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'll look that up. Thanks for everyone for their advice, because it's like, I did find one record player, but like it was like from the 60s, like one of those console ones where it's inside like that box, and it's probably like freaking like 80 pounds. I tried to move it and it was like trying not to break my back, but I found that one, but not the newer ones. I mean, that one my dad bought before I was even born, because I saw pictures of the house before they had kids, or he was even married and he had that. So, but yeah, no, this was great. I love these things, and I'm gonna try to. That's why I'm like kind of calming down about trying to get too many special guests, because I just miss this chatting with you guys and kind of listening to music and catching up.